We play and call it work.
Hey folks, Janene from MiniWarGaming here with another how-to video for you. In this video, we are going to paint the gun on this Inquisitor Eisenhorn mini. We're going to paint a really bright orangey gold color on the casing, and then a more traditional silver look on the other elements. As always, if you have suggestions for something you'd like to see in a future how-to video, please leave them down below in the comments. Now we want to start by painting the metal elements of the gun, so we're going to begin with the color Leadbelcher. I do thin down my metallic paints, not as heavily as I do with my matte colors, but I do want to put a little bit of medium into this before I apply it. And this is going all over the areas on the gun that I want to be silver. So it's going to be the muzzle, the clip, the handle, there's an area on the back right behind the gun casing, and basically any area that's not the actual gun casing I want to have be a nice flat silver color. Since I thinned down my paints, it's okay if it takes a couple layers to get a really nice shiny coat, but I want to make sure that I get this coated entirely with this silver color. And I'm doing this first before I paint the casing because there's some of these elements that are kind of hard to reach with the brush, and so this lets me slop over onto the casing itself to make sure that I get the paint applied nice and evenly. After we've base coated everything with that Leadbelcher, we're going to wash all of the metal with Nuln Oil. This puts the shadows back into our metallic colors. Sometimes a metallic color can make everything go a little bit flat because it's so shiny you lose some of the depth. This is just going to deepen some of the shadows and sink into the nooks and crannies and kind of create some of the depth that we've lost. Next, I want to move on to the casing of the weapon. I'm going to begin by base coating it with the color Brass Scorpion. This is a bright orangey metallic. It's going to be a really good base for the lighter metallics that I'm going to apply later. I just want to make sure that I apply this everywhere. There's a little bit of texture on the casing, so I'm going to make sure that I get a thin coat over all of the nooks and crannies without slopping over onto my silver. And again, this is another metallic that I've thinned down a little bit, so if it takes me a couple layers to really build up a nice bright color, that's great. I would rather apply it multiple times and have more control than have it gloop anywhere and lose any of my interesting detailing. Once we finish with the Brass Scorpion, we're going to highlight it with the color Auric Armour Gold. I want to apply this as an edge highlight all the way around the casing of the gun, and I'm also going to pick out the middle of some of the larger flat areas on the gun so that it's bright in the very middle and then it's shadowed on the sides. I like this Auric Armour Gold for this step because it's a really nice bright yellowy gold, and we want this gun casing to be a really yellowy orangey metallic. Next, I want to take the shade Fugan Orange, and I'm applying this all over the casing of the gun. I want to make sure that it especially gets into the edges, right next to the outer lining. I want that area to be nice and shadowed. And this is also going to accentuate the texture that's sculpted on this casing. There's a little bit of those hatch marks, and this is going to sink down into those crevices and make them stand out a little bit more. Next, I want to go back with my Leadbelcher color. I want to pick out the skull detail that's on the casing, and I also want to use this color to go back and highlight some of the silver elements on the gun and do a little bit of an edge highlight around the barrel, on the top of this sight, and some of the boxier edges, just so that those details are a little bit shinier now that they've been toned down with Nuln Oil in the deepest shadows. I'm going to go back in with the color Runefang Steel and add a brighter highlight on top of those metal areas. I'm adding a dab of this to the places where the sun would be shining down on the gun and making it the most shiny in that particular spot. And then I'm going back with the color Auric Armour Gold, and I'm doing the same thing on the gun casing. I'm picking out the edge details again, and the very top of the casing where the light would be hitting it the most, I want that area to be nice and bright as well. And with that last highlight, The gun on this Inquisitor Eisenhorn Mini is complete. I went ahead and finished up the base so that this model is also complete. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more how-to videos, I have another one where I'm going to paint some burlap cloth in the MiniWarGaming vault in the link down below in the description. If you don't already have a vault membership, you can go ahead and click the link, sign up for a 7-day free trial, and get access to my video, as well as hundreds of other videos in the MiniWarGaming vault. So go ahead, click the link, start your free trial, and happy wargaming!